Some female athletes say their rights are under attack by having to face off, though, against transgender athletes who are biologically male. The Biden administration proposing new rules for Title IX that would put gender identity into the law's protections and will release new regulations on transgender students participating in sports very soon. This comes after a big controversy over transgender swimmer Leah Thomas. A female athlete who lost to Thomas is sounding off on the issue.
Until accountability is taken and rules are in place to protect biological females, the integrity of women's sports is lost. Allowing male athletes to switch teams when they feel necessary is not only an infringement on female athletes, but also a mockery of Title IX.
I have been baffled for a long time about why the women who fought for Title IX have been so silent. They benefited tremendously, and they gave a lot of women and young girls opportunities for scholarships and opportunities to compete. Athletes are often better students, and they make you better at all the things that you do. When you're going to go into the corporate America or start your own business, you learn about teamwork and loss and winning and being gracious, and you learn so many things from it. And I've been baffled, like, where is everybody that succeeded in this? But now I find I'm no longer baffled. I think it is shameful. Because now you have somebody like Riley Gaines who has to get up her courage, find her strong voice, and be the one that is going to say, but what about us? In these rules that basically the administration is rewriting these Title IX rules around on the anniversary and basically saying that the issue of, they're erasing gender and women from the statute. So it's like you don't even need the statute anymore. They're basically saying on the 50th anniversary of Title IX, let's just do away with it because you don't need women's sports. The other thing I would point out is that this is going to apply to all public schools and most universities if these Biden rules go through, that using the wrong gender pronouns will now be considered sexual harassment. Ugh. So wokeism will be mandatory if you want to compete or if you don't want to be expelled. That's what's happening out there. And that's why these women who valiantly fought and now are silent, it's shameful.
Greg, I mean, this is I didn't realize that last point about the language and the accusations that can be leveled there. But there's so many young women who are able to compete in sports. How do you think they justify this, and how would you counter this if you were a Democrat wanting your party to change?
Well, right now I'm going to tell you that for this segment I'm identifying as a young woman.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to lose women in sports. Do you know what Megan Rapinoe's response to that was? Yep. Who cares? Yep. If you don't want to compete against trans females as a female, get out. She ignores all the points that you bring. And this is from someone whose entire life is based on sports. So it's cool for her to compete because she never had to deal head to head with a man. She was in a team sport. Some call it soccer. She wasn't never competing head-to-head against a dude. So she should not have any opinion. And I'm saying that as a young female. I'm about 25, fashion model.
However, she also wanted equal pay as the men.
No, and I'm sorry. That makes no sense. So to your idea about the Title IX, these people being silenced, this is another example of this political flip. Who's destroying women's sports?
Yeah.
Feminist men, strident females. It seems to be the right or people at this table who are defending the female athletes. That is. If you told me that somebody was going after Title IX and females, I'd think, oh, it's the hard right. No, it's the hard left. It's brought to you by the mainstreaming of this postmodern deconstructionism of truth. You know, it's like there's no such thing as biological truth anymore. And now this idea, which came from the campus, is destroying women's sports. I'm supposed to play lacrosse tonight with my team. As a female, I don't feel safe. So being a woman is dead. If I can identify as a woman, it's dead.
Jesse, with that lead-in.
Yeah, you killed it.
You did.
Let's just say my daughter, Sophia, wants to be a lacrosse player, D1, and she's shooting for a scholarship, and she makes all those sacrifices that you mentioned. And then all of a sudden, Brad comes along in high school. And Brad has a hairy chest. He's got calves like watermelons, and he's just physically more dominant than Sophia.
Tell me more about
And
Brad.
he scores the scholarship, which are limited and very competitive, so then I have to pay full tuition for Sophia. Anyway, she gets on the squad, but Brad's a goal-scoring machine. And my daughter rides the pine the whole year, and it's terrible. That is unfair. It's anti-women. It actually sets women backwards. It's anti-science. It makes a mockery of all these trailblazing women that gave us this opportunity. Yep. And I just don't even see why politically Joe Biden would do this. I mean, young women vote for Biden almost as much as
it's somebody
black
else.
women.
It's the young woke. It's the young woke staffers. He has no clue what's going on.
He doesn't understand this at all.
How could Kamala Harris stand by?
Well,
I don't understand it.
Did you see her throw a basketball?
I did.
I mean,
she identifies as
throw a basketball
uncoordinated.
Coming up next.